Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. The words from Mahatma Gandhi. So, National Pollution Prevention Day is observed annually on December 2nd on memory of the people who lost their lives in the 1984 incidents, that is a Bhopal gas tragedy. And the horrific industrial accident took place due to the leak of methyl isocyanate gas in the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant on the night of December 2 to 3. So, every one of us should aware of the prevention of pollution like air, soil, noise, and water. Even the day is observed to make people and industries understand the importance of pollution control acts. So it's an honorable moment for me to welcome our chief guest today, Dr. M. Dwarakanath, expert member, R&D Committee, MoEF&CC Govt of India, former director, DSTE, and member secretary, Puducherry Pollution Control Committee, and visiting faculty, DSM BDU. Welcome you, sir. And I welcome all the management members. And with great pleasure and honor, I welcome the dynamic leader and beloved principal, Dr. Bojan Subramani, sir. Welcome, sir. And I welcome all the heads of the departments, faculty members, and all dear students. I welcome once again all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I take pleasure to call upon our beloved principal, Dr. B. Bojan Subramani, President IIC, to give us the presidential advice.
A warm welcome to one and all present in this connect. And it's a great day to remember the National Pollution Prevention Day 2021. We have a great person to address us. And all behalf, once again, I welcome you, sir. And first of all, I would like to thank our management for giving permission to conduct such useful programs in this connect through virtual. And I thank the organizers, Institution Innovation Council convener, especially Dr. Vijay Chitra and other members, and continuously doing programs what is need for the student as well as for the community, society. So such a wonderful continuous series of programs are happening under IIC. I'm very happy to share this news. And this is a need of our people with all kind of expectation. We have a lot of pollutions in and around with our close circles. And this is a right time that the topic says that mantras of pollution prevention and as well as the control. This is a need-based, everyone should know what it is all about. So I would like to thank our guest for spending the time with us, Speaker Dr. M. Dwarakanath, expert member R&D Committee, Government of India, as well as former director, DST and visiting faculty of BDU, DSM. Sir, we are very happy that you are here with us to share your expertise and your knowledge to us, sir. And all our students and faculty members are really gifted to hear from your side. And life is education and education is life. Always we need to learn from experts. So my sincere thanks again and again for joining together and giving your ideas so that we'll follow, sir. I'm sure this program is going to be an highlighting program overall. I mean, really fortunate enough that we are attending this such a wonderful program. Whatever the possible way we can control the pollution or we can prevent the pollution, that is a great service to the nation. That is what I can say. So with all Almighty, we are going to have a very good day, sir. Thank you very much. The diocese. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning at the outset. Thanks for respectful principal for your kind words, and also to the management for organizing such a program, and also to the members of Innovation Council and the head of the microbiology who spoke before me. And thank you very much for this. Actually, today is a jam-packed day for me. I have a series of lectures lined since because the significance of the day. But having said that, you have mentioned a couple of things. I would like to just information. Probably you may not be attending the full function. So actually, I have covered a totally different topic today, which is on industrial disaster and how to deal with it. But as far as the role of institutions is concerned, I have a separate lecture on that, which I have delivered on, especially on low carbon lifestyles for individuals and institutions. That I can speak on a different occasion. And as I mentioned in my bio note, I serve as a R&D committee member in the Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if it is a UGC approved college and you do run a UGC approved courses, means I would be happy to give a presentation on what we expect in the proposal to be submitted to R&D of any ministry.
100%, sir. 100%. Yes,
so
sir.
That either in person or virtually, I can give a lecture on that, but not today. Having said this, I thank one and all the management, principal, and all the organizers, especially Dr. Vijay Chitra, who is my junior, in the university long back. We have never met, but thanks to the social media circles, that it gets connected with the people. Without much wasting time, I will like to go to my presentation. Dr. Vijay Chitra, can we have the presentation?
Sir, 1 second. Before that, one small introduction about his death.
Yes.
Yeah, you can proceed.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for your wise words. Now I call upon Dr. Vijay Chitra, Associate Professor, Department of Microbiology, to welcome our resource person for the day. Welcome, ma'am.
So it's my pleasure to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. M. Dwarakanath. Really, sir, I'm happy to introduce you. As you said, we haven't met, but whenever I ask for anything, Dr. Dwarakanath worked for nearly 30 years in various techno-administrative positions in Nagpur, National Sugar Institute, Kanpur, as well as the Government of Delhi and Government of Puducherry. Presently, he is serving as an expert member in the R&D Committee of MoEF&CC, GOI. He had also served as Director, DST, and Member Secretary, Puducherry Pollution Control Committee. His expert lies in EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, environmental legislations and compilations, different kinds of waste management, water and air pollution, coastal pollution, climate change. As well, he was instrumental in conducting many major studies, and he was also instrumental in setting up Dr. Abdul Kalam Science Center and Innovation Hub in Puducherry. He has also visited many countries such as Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Singapore, Japan for various training programs. And he also, to his credit, he has published many research articles, and he has also organized international workshop on climate change and responses. So with such an eminent personnel amidst us, I do hope today's day, that is today's National Pollution Prevention Day, will find its hope. And I request everyone to prevent pollution in all the possible ways in which we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay Chitra, for your kind words. Since time is short, can we go for the presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can go with the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I'll share it, sir.
Yes, yes, please. See, today, as all of you mentioned, is the National Pollution Prevention Day. Basically, it is not celebrated officially by Government of India. This I will make it very clear, because it is not a day to be celebrated. It is a day where more such awareness are to be created.
Great, sir.
Because
Yes,
because only NGOs and other institutions and industrial organization and National Safety Council, they organize various training program or awareness programs like this, or otherwise this is not a day that is officially celebrated by the Government of India or observed by the Government of India, like that of World Environment Day or International Coastal Cleanup Day. Like this, these are Government of India official programs, whereas this National Pollution Prevention Day is a day to mourn and observe silence rather than this thing, but it is dedicated to creating awareness. So that is more important, so that such events are not happen in future. So with this, can we go to the next slide, please? Make it full screen. I always start with a historical quote on that. Being a Tamilian and from Tamil Nadu, with most of the Tamilian audience, I would like to quote from the 2000-year-old poetry called Thirukural and the great poet Thiruvalluvar. Enni thuniga karumam tunindha pin ennuvam enbadu ilukku. That is, think before you are undertaking any action. Thinking after that you have done is always will be a mistake. And secondly is stakeholder consultation. எப்பொருள் யார் யார்வாய் கேட்பினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பது அறிவு. That is, irrespective of what is their status or what is their designation, whether they are literate or illiterate, we should consult on issues wherein all the affected or likely to be affected populations are going to be there. So we have to consult them. And this is written not now, between 450 to 500 CE. Before that is approximately 2000 years before. So these such things are even documented long back. Only we are not recognizing it, and we are not realizing the importance of such epics, and we don't follow. Next. See, what are the problems? Today, being a Pollution Prevention Day, I would like to highlight what are the problems if we don't prevent such accidents or pollution per se. What happens? It leads to occupational and environmental exposure. Occupation means the workers who are working in the premises, and then environmental exposure who inhale the same gas, or if it is a water-based pollutant or waste-based pollutant, it percolates the soil and it contaminates groundwater and surface water and enters ultimately the food chain and food web. And also these toxicants which are coming out are having the capacity to accumulate and in the soil or water or in the body, and then it gets magnified. The classical example is DDT applied to the pests, percolated the soil and water, and then through water it has entered the food chain and food web, and it has come to the mother's milk. At every ecosystem tropical level, that is from primary consumer to tertiary consumer, it has got magnified. What was there in 0.11 ppm or so, it got magnified, and in the human milk it got magnified up to 5 ppm DDT or so. So it becomes toxicant in the food chain and food web, and many of these toxicants have the capacity to cross the blood-brain barrier, thereby affecting the central nervous system, and also the placental barrier. Thereby it can go to the next generation from mother to the newborn. So we have to be very careful, and we have to be aware about these things, because today's students and today's faculties, we prepare tomorrow's entrepreneurs or industrial safety worker or occupational expert or environmental expert. So we should be aware of, if I don't do this properly, what is going to happen. So that is why I am concentrating on this. It can affect, these pollutants can affect all of our body system, namely eye, skin, respiratory system, or kidney damage, or nervous system, or it can affect the circulatory system. and it can result in severe injuries and fatality, as in case of Bhopal, and contaminates the soil and water, and also both the groundwater and fresh water. Many are carcinogenic. They can cause cancer, and it causes the cost of treatment to a great extent, either individually or to the government, and also for the workers and employees, it results in the loss of man days and daily, etc. So these are the problems which we should be aware. If I don't do proper pollution control or management, what will happen? These things will happen, are definitely bound to happen. It is not a chance. Next. See, National Pollution Prevention Day, everybody was telling it is 2nd October and 2nd and 3rd December 1984. It happened in Bhopal, where the intermediate product of selvin, that is methyl isocyanate, has leaked. And then the important point which I want to stress upon is lack of awareness. Nobody in the vicinity or in the proper management knew what are the precautionary steps that are to be taken, or the antidotes that is need to be taken. Everybody panicked. They thought a bomb blast or something blasted, and everybody's panic. In the panic, they started running here and there. Many ran towards the industry itself. Some ran along with the same air traffic, that is wind direction of the same gas. So many of them have increased their respiratory rate, and many of them in the process inhaled more gas and then got affected. The simplest antidote was wet a handkerchief or a towel and place it on your nose and simply walk down. Whichever direction you can, you just walk down. If that is the case, then many of the deaths could have been avoided. Neither this was known to the unit people, or even if they knew, they have not popularized and communicated to the vicinity of the population. None of the government officers, either they were aware or they have not popularized this, what is to be happen if this industry leaks the gas. So this is very important. So that to create the awareness, as I told, such programs are organized throughout India by various educational institutions and NGOs. Next. See, why I fondly used to define in a very simple manner, so that even common man understand what is pollution. Presence of a substance at a wrong place, at a wrong time, in a wrong physical and chemical form. Because at one time it can be a raw material, but when it comes out in the effluent, it can be a toxicant. It can be a pollutant. In the same way, there are many such examples that happen. If the concentration is beyond the prescribed limit, it becomes undesirable and it becomes pollutant. For this also, there is a Tamil saying called "Alavukku minjinal amirthamum nanju." That is, even the Devamird of the spiritual or the Swarglog becomes toxic if you take more than the required quantity or prescribed quantity. And then the father of the toxicology, Paracelsus, always says, all things are poison or pollutant, none without poison, only the dose determines between a poison and remedy. So you have to understand, only the dose determines the remedy, and we have to have chemicals. It is not that we cannot live with chemicals. We have to have chemicals, we have to have industrialization, but everything should be properly scientifically managed and controlled. In Indian context, we have provisions in the constitution itself, which says what is the duty of the government and what are the duties of the fundamental duties of the citizen as well. So these particular slides gives the principle, the directive principles, and also the fundamental duty of the citizen is to protect and conserve nature. Next. See, industry thinks that pollution control is of a wasteful expenditure. But unfortunately, it is not so. Only 10% of the investment is needed if you plan it, the pollution control in the beginning itself. That's why I used to quote, "Enni thuniga karmam tunindapin ennuvam enbadilukku." You have to plan before what you do, then it becomes everything very easy. And it saves money. Pollution control, it saves money and also energy and you gain the workers' confidence and increases their commitment. So you can explain everything to the worker and then say that we are spending so much of money and infrastructure to control pollution. So all of you please operate properly and cooperate. If you communicate this from the management side, then it becomes very effective for doing the pollution control work from the workers. And it gives a competitive edge. Today, all market and all products have a very big high competition. If you are from a sustainable industry or a pollution-free industry, your products get a green branding and a competitive edge. And also international business compliances require such green branding today. And it will be able to, you can meet the pollution control board norms, and it will help the industry or the institution to comply with the sustainable development goal commitments. By proper recycling and recovery of waste, lot of materials can be recovered so that it can be used as a raw material for the new manufacturing. Thereby we can end up conserving the resources of raw materials also. Next, please. See, what we should do is before one slide before. Okay. See, population approach with an open mind, and then don't pass the judgment before going into the facts only by seeing WhatsApp and Facebook or Twitter or Google. You have to be very scientific before passing on any judgment. Overnight, nothing will change. Systemic change will take a lot of time, and the perspective change with the country. What is true to India may not be true to China and Bangladesh or Pakistan or Sri Lanka. So, or America or UK. So we have to see what we can do at the best in given to our context and our population. Because development process to meet the demands of the population is inevitable. When population increases, demand increases, and we start using better resources, and the exploited resources and the remedial resources becomes waste or pollution if not properly managed. Next. See, population increases, demand increases, we result in better utilization of waste, and discarded resources becomes byproduct, and then it becomes waste or pollution. What kind of waste we are encountering over the last 30 or 40 years? These were not there earlier. Electronic waste, biomedical waste, solid waste, hazardous chemicals, and many of them are having the capacity to cross the blood-brain and the placental barrier, so that making it more difficult to manage if it is not scientifically managed. Next. See, this I have explained. Next. See, optimization in thinking and planning everywhere, it is essential. As I told, development is inevitable and development should be sustainable. Without affecting any population, how we have to develop our manufacture and have industries, that should be our concentration. One slide before. Before, please. And if we fail to do this optimization in thinking and planning, then we will end up with our developmental hamper, because then a lot of other undesirable problems will be there. Local, state, national and international interest is involved in organizing protest against any particular industry or any particular issue. We have to understand that. And in democratic country, we have the advantages are multifold, because we are having free media, fair judiciary and NGOs. A number of things are there, but there are many countries which are not democratic. They don't give any kind of information about what is happening in their industrialization, and which results in a number of undesirable pollutant effect within their country and also outside their country. And we have checks at every stages so as to take care of our environmental damages to the minimum. And we have a number of legislative processes also, and we have to understand nationally and internationally 4 P's plays a major role. That is people, policy, planning and population, and also last but not the least, the politics also plays a lot of bigger role. Next. See, I have told that we have a number of legislative processes that are there available in our country. Without going these things, I will just read what are the act and rules that we have, because for handling legislative sessions, a number of other 2 or 3 sessions are required. So Water Pollution Act, this has come in 1974. For all the pollution control boards, both the central and state, this act only has provided provisions, and it prevents with the objectives of any kind of water pollution into the water body. And also similarly, air pollution from industrial sources and also vehicular sources are dealt with this act. Environmental Protection Act is an umbrella act under which a number of legislations in the form of rules are given out for controlling any kind of specific waste or specialized waste. And also environmental impact assessment notification for the new industry or the existing industry when they go for expansion is covered in this. And also this is a very important act in today's context, that is Public Liability Insurance Act. Any major industry which are notified under this particular act are supposed to take third-party insurance every year and submit the original insurance policy with the collectorate of the district. And then that collectorate disperses the compensation in terms of the damage, to the extent of damage done either to the man or human beings or to the population or to the crops, etc. And then that insurance policy is forfeited, and then compensation from the insurance company is received and it is dispersed. So such things are happen in notified industries. Next. Biomedical waste, this covers the biomedical waste of generated from hospitals, nursing homes or clinics, pathological laboratory, or even if we generate at our home, all these things are covered under this rule. And also solid waste management rules. This is for the home, household or domestic solid waste that comes in terms of number of components are there. All these components can be effectively segregated at source and it can be managed. Like that, batteries waste. This is for lead acid battery, which we use in our inverter and in our computer, etc. So these batteries are to be either given to the buyback policy to the manufacturer itself, or it has to be given to the authorized recycler. Next. Plastic waste, this needs to be segregated and minimized, and then subject to the recycling, we have to do it. Otherwise, it poses a huge problem to the environment and also to the marine life. And we even our drinking water or the paste, toothpaste, etc., are also having microplastic. Even it has entered the food chain and food web. Even according to the National Center for Coastal Research, even the fish that we eat, it is also having lot of microplastics in it. Electronic waste, all the electrical and electronic components which is having an internal circuit, all these things have to be separately segregated, and it should be given to the authorized recycler or to the buyback policy to the manufacturer itself. And manufacture storage of hazardous chemicals rules. This is having a number of good provisions. Each section of the industry should have what kind of process that is involved and what are the kinds of hazardous substances are dealt with, and what is the chemical name, what is the common name, what is the chemical structure, and in case of any accident, what is the precaution to be taken. That is mentioned in a sheet called MSDS sheet, that is called Material Safety Data Sheet, that will be displayed in the industry wherever one goes for an inspection. That is a mandatory requirement. And also in case of any accident or disaster, what on site, what are the precautions to be taken, and off site means where from ambulance will come, who will transport, who will be responsible for what, which are the earmarked hospitals, etc. So on and so forth. All these details are worked out in terms of on-site plan and off-site plan, and it is available with the district authorities. Next. Next, similarly, chemical accident and emergency planning. Why I am stressing upon these two rules in detail is these two rules are very much applicable and relevant for today's topic. For preventing the pollution, you should have both off-site plan and on-site plan in terms of any emergency or accident, and also what are the institutional support that is required from the government side. That is, under this chemical accident prevention rule, we have state level, district level, and local level crisis group, in which all the people that are all the stakeholders like doctors, labor inspectors, pollution control officers, and also hospitals and the transport in charge, all of them are there, so that how to handle if in case any exigency or accident happens. Like that, how the industry, if at all it manufactures and discards certain portion as hazardous waste, how it has to be dealt in a scientific manner is mentioned in this rule, that is hazardous waste transboundary movement rules. Like that, noise pollution control rules, this is very much essential in those foundries or forging units wherein high pressure pistons are used or hammers are used, where industry workers are exposed to noise rules. They should be given proper noise control gadgets like ear mufflers and also a number of other personal protective equipments, so that they are minimized to the noise level. Like that, ozone depleting substance rule, that is CFC and HCFC free gadgets of like refrigerators or ozone depleting substance like air conditions and so on and so forth. We have to use those things. Those regulations are covered under this. Coastal union territories and the states, a specific set of rules are there, that is coastal regulatory management rules, wherein what is permitted within the 500 meters and beyond, that is there. In the rural areas, that with 100 meters is no-go zone, nothing should be developed. And like this, different 100 to 500 what can be developed, and beyond 500 what can be developed, and what cannot be developed along with the coast. Like this, a number of regulatory measures are posted in this rule. And like that, the latest one is construction and demolition waste. This also poses a number of problems and health, especially to the health workers. So scientific recycling and recovery of materials like such as bricks and grinded concrete and also the cement, etc., so that value added products like pavement tiles, etc., are manufactured, or to fill up the low lying area instead of digging out and put fresh sand or fresh soil. So this is covered under the construction and demolition waste. Next, wetland conservation rules, a separate set of rules are available, like that environmental impact assessment notification. What are the industries that are required to get prior environmental clearances that are mentioned, and also what are the procedure and how to conduct the environmental impact assessment. All these things are specified in this regulation. And also GEAC, genetically engineering organisms, especially for the microbiological department. This is very relevant. Rule for manufacture, use, import and export and storage of hazardous microorganisms which are genetically engineered or cells. So what kind of state regulation, state licenses are to be taken, or central government licenses are to be taken under the GEAC rules and regulations are mentioned. And how to dispose of the used product, that after proper disinfection, that is also mentioned under these rules. And the Biodiversity Conservation Act and rules are there. This is with the aim to conserve our water bodies, both surface water and groundwater, and also how to conserve the biodiversity as such. That these are all the rules that are there. So you can appreciate a number of acts and rules are in place for everybody, for awareness and also to follow. But the question is, are we following it? Before blaming anybody, whoever drives two-wheelers, how many of you are putting helmet? helmet wearing is not only required as per law, but also it is required to safeguard your own life. But how many of us follow the helmet rules properly? So let us not blame each other, but let us be aware and try to follow. And everything starts with one person, that is either me or you. Next. Forest Conservation Act, similarly, Forest Conservation Act, what is permitted, what is not permitted, and how to conserve and preserve the forest, that is there. And also a number of polybichlorinated biphenyls, that is PCBs. These are very highly persistent organic chemicals, and how to control it and how to manage it, that kind of regulation is there. And also regulation of lead content in the household paints, that is also mentioned in a separate regulation. And also a persistent organic chemical rules, that is there in 2018. So you can appreciate wide variety of rules and regulation and acts are available for compliance, but only issue is, are the management is properly complying it or not? We cannot blame the government alone, because government cannot and will not be in a position to go after each and every industry to find out whether they comply or not. Because today we are in a transparent era and everything goes online. So it is for the self-control is the today's mantra globally. So in India also, all the industries should follow self-control to the maximum extent possible. Next. See, we have a number of things. Environmental clearance is there. It is legally mandatory and a compulsory requirement. It is not just a paper or clearance like that of any driving license. You have number of things, conditions attached to that environmental clearance or pollution control board clearance. It comes with a number of conditions. The conditions are to be met continuously. It is not a one-time condition. If a sewage treatment plant is to be operated, it has to be operated continuously. If effluent treatment plant is to be operated, it has to be operated continuously. So like this number of this thing, top management, including the promoters, owner, are to be aware of these conditions, and it should have proper financial, manpower, and infrastructural requirement are to be met. And this should be planned in the beginning itself. Infrastructure requirement in terms of systems, control systems, and proper funding for those systems, and trained technical manpower and periodic training, etc., are the need of the hour, and they need to be put in place. Next. Next, please. Dr. Chitra. But the industry, what they think is, it is a routine exercise. It is a paper. Once they get a license or a clearance from Pollution Control Board, that is enough, and they don't read the conditions of it. Keep keen in getting clearances, but not showing in meeting the conditions. Treats and clearances as a consent as a paper, but this is not a paper. It comes as with a number of conditions. Things that complying to the condition is an unnecessary expenditure which can be avoided. But whenever cost cutting is considered by the management, environmental conditions are the first casualty. They say, okay, you stop the pollution control, let all manufacturing process run, but you stop the pollution control equipment. But today in the pollution, everything automated era, if you stop the pollution control equipment, the entire process equipment also will be stopped. So such things are in focus and implemented by the government also. And not realizing and not meeting the conditions can be detrimental to the employees, to the brand, and to the company, and to the surrounding environment also. And if you are continuously polluting and it is proved, then for years together the industry is closed, which you can aware number of industries are under litigation. Next. Sustainable development is the need of the hour. That development should be there without affecting anyone. And many international forum also stresses this only. They don't say we don't want industrialization or we don't want development. all the international agencies also say we need sustainable development with the industrialization at the same time without affecting the environment. And but these things differ from country to country, even within the country from one region to another. So there are a number of parities are there between the region or religion or gender or race. Without affecting any of these things, our development should be there. And the checks and balances are always there, as I mentioned, in a number of acts and rules are there in place. Next. For example, a number of whoever is from this Coimbatore area, even when we were student in the mid 80s, Seshai paper mill was utilizing Banariam and sugars Bagasi. The cane crushed after taking the sugarcane juice, the Bagasi, which is the leftover solid waste of the sugar industry, formed the raw material for the Seshai paper industry. So a number of such industrial examples are there. I am not going to deal much in detail because of want of time. Yeah, we are traditionally and this should be the mantra. Like we should forget about the 3 R's. We should innovate R's. A number of R's we can innovate. This is like rethink, refuse, reduce consumption, reuse everything, refurbish and repair the old things, repair before you replace, repurpose and create value-added products, reinvent and then recycle. So these are a number of 8 R's. I have mentioned 8 R's, but there are a number of R's which students can innovate or the faculties can innovate so that to minimize the fresh resources usage. Next. We have to do, we have to understand the process, and knowing proper antidote and standard operating procedure we should be aware of in case of any such accident. Standard operating procedures and antidote will differ from one industry to another industry. So that we have to be aware, having technically trained manpower for the particular process, and we have to have pollution control systems in place. And this is very much important. In Bhopal incident also, lack of this created a lot of death. Health education and communication in the nearby vicinity. Otherwise, such deaths will happen. One could have make water. They immersed the kerchief or the towel in the water and made it wet. And if they have kept in their mouth and nose, covered the nose, and if they were only walking, Bhopal deaths could have been avoided. But this was not known to many, or even whoever knew it, they have not conveyed the health education and communication to the nearby population. So that is very much essential. By doing it, you are getting all pollution control board clearances, and whatever clearances you got, you have to meet, and in letter and spirit you have to comply with all the conditions, and also adhere to that material safety data sheet in the industrial processes, how acid to be handled, how alkalis are to be handled, how different reactant and products are to be handled. Everything is to be mentioned, and it should be mentioned in bilingual, and it should be pasted as a poster in different sections of the industrial manufacturing process. And also SOPs are to be known, and shift in mindset to the industries at the top management is the key required. Next. See, now I am going to cover a very important topic of circular economy or resource recycling. This is as per the 2021 Government of India report based on a FICCI study. See, based on that FICCI study, we have circular economy. If we meet by 2030, we could save millions and millions of US dollars in various sectors. So Government of India identified 8 sectors, and they are giving this thing under plastics, food and gold from the electronic waste, iron and steel from the scrap, copper from the scrap, fibers from the textiles, and also the cement from the construction and demolition. Next. See, what are the things that can be done? Substitute the wasted resources instead of the using fresh raw material, and monetize and concentrate on the wasted capacity If an industry is having 100 tons per day, make use of that unused capacity rather than you starting a new industry in the same state or in the same district. That kind of using the available capacity, and also lengthen the waste product by that 8 hours, or you can innovate more hours by making resell, maintain, repair, or remanufacture in used market. And also you can save 1,300 billions by recycling, upcycling, and component reuse and recovery. So you can have a number of such things by doing the resource recovery. Next. What are the successful business model to have the circular supply chain and recycling separately, and product life extension by doing repair or rejuvenation, and sharing platform like that. For example, if a mobile tower is installed, only that particular radio waves are shared. But today, Government of India has come up with the policy that mobile tower can be installed by one service provider, whereas the transmitters and can be installed in the same tower of others also, and revenue and cost of installation can be shared by everybody. Like you have only one DTH, but you pay additional, you need not install a second dish. You can see other service providers programs also in that same TV. It is similar to that sharing platform of utilities without investing in the putting up infrastructure again. Again, product as a service. A number of products now has come as a service online and offline. Next. See, here I am going to say only by vehicle proper scrapping and recycling, how much billions of different can be recovered by 2025. Like two-wheeler, it can be embedded steel is to this extent, and also average weight. And in three-wheeler also huge amount of steels are there. Private cars, huge amount of steels are there. Commercial passenger vehicle, huge amount of steels are there. Commercial goods vehicle. Have we thought before this session, how many of you thought what happens once we sell the two-wheelers? It end up with the Kailangada, that is rag picker, or the automobile repair and recovery shop. But all these shops are functioning in an unscientific manner. So this 2021 vehicle scrapping policy has come, and it will ensure in the next decade to come that many of the vehicles, at least 50% or more than 50% of the vehicles that are discarded, will be scientifically materials of different kinds, like plastics or metals of different kinds, will be recovered from the vehicle alone, which is going to save huge foreign exchange and individual as well as government's money. Next. Next, please.
Sir, I think, yes, sir, I'm changing it.
This is an estimation of how much tons, million tons are there, and how much billions of opportunity is there by only vehicle recycling alone. Next. Like this, our household products of washing machine, refrigerator, LED or LCD TV, and our desktop computers or laptops and mobile. All these things after 4 years or 5 years of our purchase are going to cross to some other person, and then from them to ultimately to the recycler. But again, these recycling are in unorganized hands. So if you recycle in unorganizedly, what happens? It will results in huge occupational exposure, which is going to affect the health of the labor workers and also their families. Because many of these toxicants are inhaled or enter into the food chain, it affects not only to the worker but also to the newborn offsprings through the mother and then baby. So all these things have huge components of metal like copper, iron, aluminum or plastics, and also precious metals of gold, silver and platinum, etc. And this also policy is there for urban mining and proper electronic waste disposal facilities. Next. And extractable gold in electronics. So as an institution, one takeaway for the college today is, please ensure that all your internal circuit having electrical and electronic gadgets or equipments or instruments need to be properly given to the authorized recycler, or it should be given to the manufacturer under the buyback scheme. And it is a mandatory law requirement for any user. So please, this is one takeaway for your college today. And the second takeaway for your college today is, microbiological lab or any chemical lab, whatever you use, that needs to be properly treated and disinfected before throwing it into the drain. So these two are the today's takeaway for your college today. And like that, number of environmental benefits are associated with the plastic recovery and reuse or recycling. And a number of livelihood opportunities are also created. Next. Next, please. And these I am not going to go in detail for want of time. These I have tried to document a number of industries, how they are managing the environmental factors and waste in a innovative way, and how they convert it into value added products or environmentally friendly products. Like starting from Ambuja Cement, I have tried to give a number of industries taking from the FICCI report. Next. Next. This you can these industrial examples can be taught to the students at leisure in a class by the faculty concerned itself. If you want, then you can organize another lecture wherein I will be addressing them. See, urban mining from e-waste itself gives lot of electronic value added products, which will save a number of gold or silver or platinum, and also plastic recycling. And from the vehicles and other products, huge amount of steel can be recovered. I have tried to give it in a nutshell. So the list is many more. Sky is the limit in the ideas and innovations. All the rules and the acts aims towards achieving this. Implementation is the problem by the industries, and it should be a collective effort by the public in general, by the industrial workers, by the industrial management, and also by the government officers. And it is all happening today also, but it happens in an unorganized sector, whereby environmental and occupational exposure and pollution is very serious, and it affects many people. Next. See, I have tried to give only a small number of good deeds, but if you go to these two links, these are Government of India, Ministry of Environment and Forest web links. They give audio and video of a number of good green deeds, which for individual and institutions to follow. So I have tried to give you these links. And also the National Digital Library run by IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, has more than 4 crores of journals and books available free of cost online to the faculties and to the students. So please make use of it. Similarly, books and journals are available for free under the pdfdrive.net.in. Next. Thank you for a patient listening. Be a mad person. Mad in a paithiyakaran. Make a difference person. Think away from the business as usual. Then you will achieve and end up in innovation. Tamil sollanuna mathi yosin solrangala. This is nothing but I am trying to say that mathi yosicha we can achieve many things, and think and act, put the systems in place. Balluvar sonna mari, think and plan for management of all inputs and outputs of whatever activity that you are going to do, and be a reformer and fight for the change. It takes a lot of time, but it pays. Thank you for a patience listening. Thank you very much. And I am very fast because I have to address another gathering at Bharatidasan University on the same day. So I thank the management and also the organizers and principal and the head of the microbiology department, and also Dr. Vijay Chitra for giving me the opportunity. But looking forward to address the students whenever required. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much. Sir, will you come in video? Because I haven't taken your photo.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, because we were talking, I couldn't take you separately. That's why.
Okay, that
Sir,
is the
it was
reason.
really
No
a
problem.
wonderful session, and really, without boring, I do hope the students would have got something into it, especially extraction.
Actually, I personally feel I have not done justification to the lecture because I have to speak on a number of issues in each slide. But because of the war, today is like that because I have a couple of other lectures both in the morning as well as in the afternoon. So maybe in any other time, if any other chosen topic by your institute and the students, if they require, I will be more than willing to speak, because I always felt the knowledge which is not shared is like an unpurchased book in the bookshop. Then it is of no use. So that is, I always believe, and Dr. Vijay Chitra knows how active I used to be in all my social networking groups. Always try to be educating people and fellow students. I wish to tell, and whatever I know, I wish to learn also. So even in this age, I used to do that. So for the students, always try to learn. Don't protest. Protesting will not pay you, or the confrontation is not going to lead you anywhere. You can fight for your rights, but try to go within your limitations. And you should understand management's limitations also. So that way, I wish all the best for all the students and faculties, and be careful till the time government is not lifting the masking in public places, especially in the colleges, and when you go to markets or any place or traveling by public transport, please do not see others. If COVID or infection comes, it is going to come to you, not to others. And many valuable lives have been lost, many families have been affected. So always protect yourself and then follow government advice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Just a minute, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your wise words. Thank you for enlightening us with this session. Practicing gratitude allows you to have a predominant habit of seeking and finding the good in life. To express this gratitude, I welcome Mrs. Selva Jayanti, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello.
Good morning to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks in this occasion. I would like to thank our guest speaker for National Pollution Day, Dr. M. Dwarakanath, Expert Member R&D Committee, MoEF&CC, Government of India Former Director, DST and Member Secretary, Pondicherry Pollution Control Committee, and visiting faculty at DESM, BDU. Sir, you have made it a note. Environment pollution affects our quality of life and our health. So every citizen must think about the sustainable development in their works and for the industry making. And also industries have to follow the rules and regulation, and they have to knowledge the persons who are working, and also conservation laws, regulation and legislations. The words are really made enlighten us, sir. And also our heartfelt gratitude for agreeing to talk on proposal writing. We look forward to you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I extend a hearty thanks to our management members, and I express my gratitude to our leader, Principal Dr. B. Subramani, sir. My heartfelt thanks to IIC Coordinator, Dr. A. Vijay Chitra, and special thanks to Head of our department, Dr. Bhagiraj, sir. Last but not least, I thank all the IIC members, student members, and the participants from SNMV and other institutions. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I am leaving.
Participants, feedback form is available in chat box. Please fill it.